What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Viall Files. I'm your host, Nick, and thank you for listening to our podcast because there's billions out there, and we are going to reward your loyalty to us with a fantastic episode because we have Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd, the wonderful dynamic duo. You know them from Lord of the Rings and a bunch of other movies and TV shows that they have been in. That is right. Also, they're best friends, and they talk about friendship on their podcast, The Friendship Onion, but we discuss it with them on the Viall Files, and they're fun, funny, lovable guys, and you're going to love this episode. So before we get to it, don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castmedia.com. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castmedia.com, cast with a K. Anywho.
Dom and Billy!
Dom and Billy, everybody! All right.
You don't have a virgin ass, but you do have an ass that needs to be fixed. I saw that too.
I was working on it on Tuesday.
Squats. He's got a squat.
I did 16 squats and a lunge. I feel like it's really helped. Just on one side.
Yeah, just the one side.
You're working the butt?
Yeah, I have to. My knee got painful, and my physiotherapist says my butt is not being used enough. I'm using my thighs too much.
That actually is true.
I know. Are you a physiotherapist?
No, I ran a lot of track and played sports, and so usually when I'd have a muscle soreness of some kind, like a lot of people have lower back issues.
Yeah.
And it's because they're not stretching their hamstrings or their butt too much.
Yeah.
Enough, rather. And it's pulling, and so all these muscles are connected, and when one's weaker or tighter, it usually doesn't hurt that muscle. It hurts some sort of corresponding muscle that's attached.
Exactly what he was telling me. He said it could be coming from your ankle, but we had a look at my ankle and he said it was dashing, if anything. And he said it's mainly my butt is not activating.
You got a tiny posterior, haven't you?
Tiny butt.
It's tiny. Almost no arse at all. Not the whole. The hole's like uniform size.
It's really
But the cheeks.
symmetrical.
But
The
if I
cheeks are
stood up just
tiny.
now, my pants would fall down
Yeah.
because I have no butt or hips. I'm completely straight up and down.
I'm the exact opposite. I'm quite a hip
He's
guy.
very
I'm
hippie.
I'm
And
hippie as well.
I've got a big arse. That's where my power comes from.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
It's my center.
What do you squat?
Did not think this was gonna go. I haven't squatted in a while. In high school, at my most, I squatted 400 pounds.
400 pounds.
That's like half an elephant. That's amazing.
I can't squat my body weight. Dom has to help me up.
Yeah.
If I go
Like
too
an
low.
old man.
Do you guys do everything together?
Well, we do a lot of stuff together. But if we've watched a long movie and Billy needs to go for a wee, I need to pick
You
him
have
up
to
by
pull him
both
up?
his hands.
Sometimes he'll put me on his back like Yoda, and we walk to the bathroom that way, and I give him advice.
Did you guys meet on Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
The first time?
Yeah.
And you guys, was it fast friends from the beginning?
No, I initially thought arsehole. And then I was proven otherwise.
Did you really though?
No.
I mean,
didn't.
sometimes that happens.
Nah.
Sometimes people will warm up slowly to others.
Nah, there's no arsehole vibes with Billy. No, we just I was the last one there to New Zealand. Billy and Elijah and Sean were already there, and a few others. I think Orlando was there, right? And a couple of other people. And Billy and I met in the costume department. I had a costume fitting. I think Billy was... Were you finishing a costume fitting, or did you just
I think I
come
just
to
finished
say
a
hello?
makeup
Oh, right.
test.
Right.
And I heard that you were in wardrobe. You just arrived from Europe. And I thought, I'll run in and I'll say hello.
Yeah.
Because I knew we'd spend a lot of time together for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And I felt much better when I liked you, you know.
Oh, that's good. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Billy and I went for a beer. Did we go for a beer
I
afterwards?
think we did in a game of pool. We went to Bristol, a
Yeah.
bar called the Bristol.
Just
I
the
think.
two of you.
Just the two of
Why
us.
didn't you invite the rest of the gang?
I think Elijah had stuff to do for the remainder of the day. I'm not sure if Sean Aston was there.
Not sure.
We would have invited them because we were very tight with those boys, and also Orly we saw a lot, and Vigo when he was around. But it just so happened that we wrapped at the same time, and Billy and I were both, kind of all right at pool. So we were like, well, I didn't know Wellington at all. I'd only just got there. And I said to Billy, is there anywhere in town that plays pool? And Billy said, I think I actually did pass somewhere that played pool. Went in there, a couple of beers. It's kind of how it works with Brits in a lot of ways. One of the ways that British people tend to get to know each other if they want to do it kind of in a fast forward type vibe is play some pool, have a beer. And it just
kind of a
kinda
social
happens.
event.
We were both single, ready to mingle, not with each other.
No.
Although I have given you a pretty deep kiss.
But leave it at that.
That was just another night. And we did own a few pool tables. Like in Queenstown, we had an amazing, wasn't something that we trained for, but we went to Queenstown and I think we were playing pool at a bar called The Cow.
I can't remember the name of it,
think it
but
was
I know
called
the
The Cow.
evening you're talking about.
We started playing and we put some coins down and some people came over and said, can we play? And we said, well, you have to play the winner. And they said, well, what if we bring over a partner and we'll play doubles versus doubles? And we were like, yeah, great. So they played us. They lost. Another double came over and said, can we play? And we said, yeah, you can play us. And we kept the pool table all night and people kept coming over to try and beat us. And we're all right at pool. We're not like amazing, but we just had one of those nights where you had just the right amount of beer and just the right amount of confidence.
And it end up the barman called up the real good pool players, and they arrived. They came
They
out
literally
there.
call people. They got this.
They
gotta get
called
these
them
guys
up.
out of here.
Bring
Get
your
these guys.
balabushka.
And these two New Zealand guys arrived, and we beat them and all. We are the champions of New Zealand.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was an amazing night.
And it's been friends ever since.
Yeah.
Deep friendship, but we haven't taken the pool to the next level, which we might do.
Well, didn't you say Billy was your life? Well, didn't you say, Billy, that Dom was your life partner?
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, certainly one of them. Billy, Billy's
He wants
married.
to be so bad.
Yeah.
How old were you guys when you met each other? Ballpark.
23 I was.
Yeah.
I was 31.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
now
Do you find it like
44.
I think a lot of people, especially at least in the States, they find it harder to make friends after college or high school because of this. Has it been like for me? I continue to make different types of friends, and part of that was I just kind of took new risks and kind of new adventures in life, and I think sometimes, especially nowadays, where people move to different places or different cities, they'll have a hard time making friends, right? Because they don't have, like, you go to school and it's just like or you play sports as a child. How's that been for you guys, with being actors and doing different projects? Has it been a priority, like, to continue to connect with people and make friends? Or, once you guys, was it just kind of luck? You guys weren't necessarily looking to make friends when you guys found each other?
I think so. I think it was just luck, really. I think Peter Jackson, who directed Lord of the Rings, a major part of the casting, as well as getting the right people, was getting people who were right to make a movie that was going to take 4 years to make and not be an easy movie to make. He knew that he couldn't have prima donnas who are going to say, I'm not leaving my trailer until the snow goes off, kind of thing. He knew that it had to be people with the same sort of outlook as he had about making these huge films. So I think by accident, you got a lot of people who had the same sort of vision for life, if you would, and it was just, we were lucky that we hit it off so well, and we had so much work to do together down there that it created that.
How did you guys find out about the product? I heard, I think from my buddy Kyle, I know Dom knows.
Right.
I don't know if you met my buddy Kyle.
You would have met him at Lige's house at Electric Avenue at some point. He was one of the guys that hung out with Lige. Back when Lige was cooking a lot of like wood fire pizzas, in that back oven.
Yeah.
And cooking. Elijah went through a period of cooking a lot of pig's asses. Do you remember
Did
that?
he?
Yeah. He
Delicious.
was like, come over this weekend. I'm doing another batch of pig's asses. And I was like, well, we had that last weekend. He's like, well, but it's brilliant. And Kyle was one of the guys that hung out with him. And he loved pig's asses as well.
I mean, as do I.
Yeah.
But he mentioned that to audition for the Lord of the Rings role, he got he got in full costume, did a
Yeah, we
whole
heard
thing.
about that.
Did you guys do that as well? Or like, how'd you hear about the project? And did you anticipate the scope and how big it was going to be going in?
Straight off, I'll say that casting in America and casting in Britain is completely different. And it threw me over here
Oh, how so?
because, say the part's a police officer
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, you go for them. I would go like this. And there'd be people waiting to be seen for the police officer dressed as a police officer. And that totally freaked me out. I was like, wait a minute, if I'm up against a police officer, going up for a police officer, probably the police officer will win. But
Did you actually think that some of them might actually be?
no, but I was just amazed that, like, if you were going up for a Wall Street guy, people went in a full suit.
Yeah.
In Britain, you just go as you are, and then
Worry about wardrobe.
they
later.
imagine you in a suit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it totally freaked me out. And when I heard the story about Elijah, I thought that's brilliant. When I heard that, but we wouldn't have done anything. You wouldn't in Britain. You wouldn't dress as a hobbit to go up to be a hobbit.
No, and on your way to the audition, you get battered. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, you get battered
You would
if
get
you were going up
battered.
the Tottenham Court Road dressed
Yeah.
as a hobbit.
Did you guys anticipate, like, when you got the audition, was it something you guys were already working actors at that point? Did you think it was going to be this massive opportunity, or were you just like, I'll audition and we'll see what happens?
Well, you never know if you're going to get it or not, so you try as hard as you can to not be as excited until you've actually got the role. I was playing a skinhead at the time in a play in London, so I had no hair. I'd been punched on the tube because someone thought I was actually a skinhead, but I wasn't. I was just playing a skinhead, but must have been playing him quite good.
You must have been brilliant
Do you
if
know what I
somebody
mean?
beat you up for it.
Went full method. So I had like a cold, so I went into the Hubbard's casting offices, kind of with my voice a lot deeper than normal, and like a purplish eye and no hair, very not Hobbit-like. But the Lord of the Rings, a little bit kind of like the Beatles, is just part of Britain. It's a huge part of Britain. We all know the Beatles. It's just it's synonymous with music. And Lord of the Rings is the same in terms of literature. There's most kids past the age of 9, 10 or 11 in England know the Lord of the Rings. They just do. It's part of our culture. So of course, a trilogy of movies in New Zealand with Peter Jackson was going to be a big deal. Billy was the first person casting it. So when I went into the Hubbards, they said, we've cast Billy Boyd. I went, oh, are you kidding? He went, yeah. I was, oh my God, I've got to get. No, I had no idea.
You're like, I have no idea who that guy is.
No idea.
No idea. But you were the first person cast in the movies.
I
weren't
was.
you?
That is true.
The first person.
Yeah.
the
So
first.
Pete Jackson told me at the end. He, I was. The
What
first
was it
person.
about you that he was like, you know what, I'm going to start
We're going to start with that, and we'll build the movie around him.
all around Billy.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the peak.
I honestly don't know, but
Do you think it's because you were available?
I think I was available, and I was very cheap. And when I auditioned for it, everybody I knew was auditioning for Lord of the Rings, and I was living in Scotland, and the auditions were in London. So I went down, and like Dom, you didn't really think you were going to get it. It was a kind of big movie, or just something about it felt like it was out of reach. So I did this audition, and a couple of weeks later, they said, Pete Jackson's coming into town, he wants to meet you. And I was like, oh, cool. So I went back down to London, and we spent about an hour doing different scenes, and he was directing it. And then within like a week, they called me up and said, you've got the part, and we'll see you in New Zealand in 2 months or something.
That's pretty. And you guys lived there for 4 years?
But so we were there. Principal photography was a year and a half. And then after that, we all went home, and then we came back to do the pickups for the first movie.
Mhm.
And then went home back to do the pickups for the second movie. And the pickups were like 4 or 5 months.
Sure.
So off and on for 4 years, a year and a half straight through, and then sort of 5 months a year after that.
How much of it was CGI? And because it was made around the time like when the Phantom Menace came out and George Lucas was going all CGI. and there was certainly CGI in Lord of the Rings, but there was also, I mean, I guess it was hard for me to tell at the time. And how much was it just costume and set design versus doing CGI, and how were you guys able to kind of, as an actor, is it different to transition from both doing green screen work versus just set design stuff?
I mean, there's obviously quite a lot of CGI in it. A lot of the stuff that Billy and I do on Treebeard, almost all of it entirely is CGI. Not all of it. But
Treebeard was in the second movie. We were up on a tree, and most of that was CGI. But other than that,
background.
We travelled all over the all over the country.
So we're using real locations. What Pete did, what great directors do, is they establish the special effects. The hobbits are small, and then they don't show it too many times outside of that, because it's understood that the hobbits are small, or it's understood that, you know, this is a moving tree. And then they use different tricks. So even though at times we would have the four hobbits walk through a scene, and then they'd cut, and then they'd have other members of the fellowship that were different sizes of the hobbit walk through the scene, and then they'd add it together. Most of the time, in fact, I would say more than 65% of the time, we were just on our knees, weren't we?
Yeah.
That's all we do. We do the scene and we'd be on our knees instead of on our feet.
Well, that's why you got knee problems.
Exactly.
yeah.
I should sue somebody. Warner Brothers will be getting that.
Until you been crawling around on your knees for so long.
Could you imagine going to that doctor's office and he's like, "It's your butt," and you're like, "No, but I've been on my knees for like 4 years."
4 years. Could it be that, doctor? No, it's your butt.
Want to fuck on your mattress more comfortably? Well, get Helix Sleep now. That's right. You can also sleep better. I have a Helix Sleep mattress. It's the best sleep of my life. I used to be the type of guy who would like travel and be like, I can sleep on any mattress. Turns out I just had a shitty mattress myself. And that's why I didn't notice the difference between like sleeping on other people's mattresses and my own. And now the only drawback of traveling is the fact I don't have my mattress to sleep on. And honestly, the sex isn't the same either. That's probably too much information for you. But the important thing is you can get a quality mattress made for you. Side sleeper, back sleeper, on your stomach, whatever it is. Helix Sleep will get you the mattress that's perfect for your body and how you sleep. And you can do it by taking a quick quiz, answer some basic questions about how you sleep, what your preferences are. Helix Sleep will send an amazing mattress. And when you open the box, it's great. It's like a whole new science experiment. It's fascinating. And it shows up, and then all of a sudden you're like having great sleep, comfortable sex. You can't beat it. Helix Sleep. That's right, baby. And don't take my word for it. They got thousands and thousands of reviews. GQ Magazine, Wire Magazine named it the best mattress of 2020. They got a 10-year warranty. I mean, what more can I say? Helix Sleep is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/VIALL. That is helixsleep.com/VIALL for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows.
The toughest was when they used to say, okay, so you're going to do this thing, you guys will speak, this will happen, and then at that point, you guys run, exit camera really fast, and you'd have to run on your knees, you know, so obviously, yeah, we would, you'd have to exit frame on your knees, so you've got Vigo and Orly and John Rhys Davies doing it pretty easily, and we're kind of hobbling along, you know, so.
You made a really interesting point. I'm thinking back, and you know, I've seen all the movies several times. It's been a few years since I've seen them, but you're right. There's always a few moments where they kind of show you, they put in perspective or the scale of how small the hobbits were, and then it would always be like, oh yeah, these guys are really small compared to everything else. But it wasn't always like you weren't always next to the larger people, and I never thought about that.
I mean, obviously when it's the 4 hobbits, we're all the same size, now we're walking around, you know. So.
Yeah.
And they also had a guy down there called Tall Paul. This is true. Sounds like I've made this up. But there's a guy called Tall Paul, and Paul was about 7.5 feet tall, right?
Yeah.
Or more. And they had all the costumes, Aragorn, Legolas, Arwen, had all their costumes made in a bigger size, so that if there was a close-up of Dom standing next to Arwen, it'd be Tall Paul with a dress on. And so that it would look like...
So your eyeline, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
God, it's all the things you have to think about. When you get to make a movie like that, do you have any idea of how it's going to look like on TV, or is Peter showing you? How does that work with CGI, or is that all in post and you just kind of, I think, some movies are different where there's, smaller sets, but the scale of Lord of the Rings is so big and so grand, and then there are a lot of special effects. Were you guys just as curious of how it's going to all come together, or did you kind of have a sense while filming it?
Well, I mean, if it matters to the characters, then obviously he's going to tell us. When we're in Moria and we're escaping after we've kind of roused the cave troll and the goblins and the Balrog, Pete would talk us through it. Okay, the Balrog is this. This is what it looks like. This is what it's going to look like. Yeah. This is where its shoulder is. This is its head. Because it serves our characters to know. If it doesn't serve our characters, unless you're asking questions, Pete probably doesn't have enough time to tell you. But Pete is a massive special effects nerd. He loves that stuff. So if you're sat in Video Village and you're seeing a green screen and Pete's got time, and you say to him, "So Pete, what is this now?" Pete will love to tell you, "Oh, this is Rivendell, and this is the staircase, and you've got this, and that's going to be the sunset, and it's going to be like this." He's very excited to tell you. He doesn't have a huge amount of time, so lots of times he doesn't have that time. But certainly, if it was something that we had to know, Pete would go out of his way to explain it. But then, in terms of practical terms, like the cave troll was a tennis ball on a pole. That's all it was. It was a pole that was 20 feet high. That someone held, and at the top of that pole was a tennis ball. It was that big. And that was the cave troll.
And you guys are just being terrified.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, and we're like, oh, fucking hell, tennis. I mean, it can be really terrifying, tennis.
It can be.
Especially on the glutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to use your imagination, but that's what it means to be an actor, right?
Yeah.
You have to pretend it's all there, it's all happening.
How many, when you guys have done other projects after Lord of the Rings, are you on set answering a lot of these types of questions, or people, even as actors, asking you notes on how to, work with CGI, or are they just fans of the show as well?
Yeah, I think most shows that I've done afterwards, someone will always be, a younger actor, or will come up and say, "God, I grew up with those movies," and ask you questions about it. But it's just nice. It's great, if a film that we've been part of inspires filmmakers or young artists, then it's just great.
Yeah, I don't think I've done a project where they've not asked. I was lucky enough to do Star Wars a couple of years ago now, and hanging out with the guys, John and Daisy and Oscar, and we're all chatting for the first few days or so, and then I think after like day 4, John said, "Okay, I've been nice now. I've been polite. We've got to know each other. I'm going to ask you a bunch of Lord of the Rings questions." And I was like, "All right, you can ask." And as he started asking Lord of the Rings questions, that's when Kelly Marie came over, and Daisy and Oscar, and I spent the next, half an hour talking about Lord of the Rings questions. But the great thing about that with actors is then it opens up the floor for me to ask John questions, for me to ask Oscar questions, for us to share our experience, So you're just lucky that you've been involved with something that someone has seen,
Yeah.
It's also epic that you're on Star Wars set talking about Lord of the Rings.
Right, right.
Like you guys aren't like Star Wars geeking out. You're like, let's Lord of the Rings geek out.
Right.
That's kind of rad.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I've told Billy the story.
You do all the
a few
culty
times.
stuff.
Yeah, I do. I like those kind of world building things. But we did a scene once with everyone, with Chewie and Poe and Finn and Rey and C-3PO and R2-D2 and stuff, and then we moved to a different part of the stage, and the stage was massive. It was like an aircraft hangar. So they moved the set and all the cameras over about 100 feet in one direction, and JJ said to us, "It's going to be about 40 minutes until we do this next scene." So everything moved over, and I was just kind of stood around twiddling my thumbs, didn't really have anything to do, and I looked to my right, and it was just me and R2-D2. There was no one else around. And there was no one in the R2-D2 unit. It was just like a shell of R2-D2. So I was able to go over and have like a little private clandestine conversation with R2-D2 about how that droid changed my life, which is probably the reason why I did Star Wars, to be able to try and communicate that in some way to myself, but also
it's a very meta experience.
It was.
Kind of just
got to hug Chewie and ask C-3PO what his favorite movie is. I told you this, right? Anthony Daniels' favorite movie is Pretty Woman.
That's a great movie. It's
That's C-3PO's favorite movie is
I
Pretty
like Pretty
Woman.
Woman. No, I don't think C-3PO's movie is. C-3PO's favorite movie is probably Metropolis or something like that. But
Spaceballs.
yeah, maybe Spaceballs. But Anthony Daniels' favorite movie is Pretty Woman. He said it was a masterpiece.
What was the original title of Pretty Woman?
Really?
What's the question?
What's the original title of Pretty Woman?
Was it something like Rags to Riches?
Nope.
I don't know.
No. No one. No.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I do know that on the cover of Pretty Woman, it's not Julia Roberts' legs.
It's not her legs.
It's something to do with her legs. The original was
it
64 inches or something.
All right.
And it was the length
Let's find
of
out.
her legs.
She had legs right up to her armpits, didn't she?
Right up to her armpits and right back down to the floor.
Yeah, they were long.
Do you guys ever
Two
get
of them.
competitive about the stuff that you guys do? Like the fact that he was doing Star Wars.
No.
Do you? Is it?
I love it. I love that Dom does. He did X-Men as well.
Yeah,
He
X-Men,
does all
Culty.
those things. He's done,
Lost, super culty.
right?
Yeah, but we were just talking
Yeah.
before the show started about Billy being involved in Master and Commander. We're pals. We want each other to do well. We've been lucky to find something that's a job that we do together. But when Billy gets a job, it's exciting to find out where he's going, what he's doing, what he's learned, type thing.
Do you guys talk every day?
Never get jealous
Yeah.
of anyone else's success. That is the absolute secret of life.
It really is.
If you can celebrate other people's successes the way you'd celebrate your own, imagine how much celebrations you'd be
Yeah,
doing.
true.
You'd be celebrating all day. Look at that producer just looking at
She's
the
looking
original
for
name of Pretty Woman.
Have you always thought that way, Billy? I
Yes.
mean, you have.
From an early age, I switched onto that, and it's the absolute secret.
Jealousy and envy is the devil's arsehole, man.
No,
It's horrible because there's always someone, if you're going to be jealous and envious, there's always someone better, bigger, stronger, more successful than you. I listened to a really fascinating Louis C.K. podcast that he did with Mark Maron, and Mark Maron had fallen out with Louis C.K. because of the success that Louis C.K. had. And Louis C.K. really schooled him, where he just said, look, my success has nothing to do with your life, or shouldn't make you feel as if you're more of a failure. That's a completely separate entity, This is my life. And he said also, because we lost contact with each other at the time, you weren't aware of the fact that in this inverted commas success that I was going through, I was also divorcing my wife, bringing up 2 small girls. My show got cancelled. I was having my own challenges. But to you, because you don't know me anymore, all you see is my successes, and like envy and jealousy it's horrible, man.
No,
It'll
totally,
kill
yeah.
you. It'll
Because
kill you,
also
that
you never learn, right? Like
Right.
what's it like? Before this life, I was in sales, and you get a lot of people that have success about something, and the jealousy and envy would turn into people saying, well, they just got lucky, or they got this role because of this, or they did this because of that. Instead, you could have been like asking them a question like, well, what was your thought here, or what made you want to do this, or have a takeaway. And yet when people experience that jealousy and envy, you're just kind of selling yourself short, because
It's small.
that example you gave me, like maybe there was something, especially in friends, you could just be like, oh, you should try it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, great, I'll try it that way, as opposed to just being like, oh, they got lucky. A lot of people say like, oh, they got lucky, or that's why they're doing it.
I mean, we do get lucky. Everyone gets fortunate.
yeah,
in
you have
their
to get
life.
lucky sometimes.
That's a
too,
huge part
but
of your
you
job.
combine the working hard and putting yourself in favorable situations to get lucky.
Right. And also our journey in life is to get bigger, right? You want to expand vibrationally. But like envy and jealousy, it's a very small thing to think those things, Billy and I have both been lucky, even if you take the example of Lord of the Rings, to be working with extremely successful people. Ian McKellen has been an extremely successful actor for large periods of his life. Kate Blanchett, one of the most successful actresses in modern day. What I've found when I've been lucky enough to work with extremely successful actors, or extremely successful practitioners, directors, producers, whatever, they're the most secure. They're the most happy in other people's successes, because they're happy. They know what it feels like. They want other people to feel that way. The people that are envious and jealous of other people are the people that probably haven't had that element of success and want it. And it's just a shitty way to live your life, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Have you, through your both kind of illustrious careers, what are some of your maybe kind of biggest fanboy moments, other than R2-D2, potentially, where you walked into a room and you were almost like, or did you not have any of those moments?
My big one, which actually came up on our podcast today.
Yeah.
We just recorded the podcast. And my big one was meeting Prince. Before he passed away. Yeah, I was lucky enough to get invited to a concert at his house for like 40 people.
In like Minneapolis?
No, he was living here in Los Angeles at the time, and he was such a huge part of me growing up. His music, Purple Rain, all that, a huge part of my life. And to meet him in person just completely blew my mind. And I've been lucky enough to meet huge actors, you know,
Hugh Jackman,
huge actors. Oh, and but that's the one that totally blew my mind. I just couldn't believe I was in his house, saying hello and shaking hands.
What was he like?
He was amazing. I was saying to Dom, because he's such a kind of otherworldly person on stage, he's one of a kind, right? So when you meet him and he's just like a normal guy, it just blew my mind.
Yeah, I'm thinking like I wouldn't expect Prince to be normal at all.
Yeah.
Like at all.
But like everyone I've ever met, everyone's a human being, right? Yeah. Except for my dog. He's not a human being.
If you told me like, Prince slept like hanging upside
exactly.
I'd be like, oh yeah, cool, of course. It's like.
And then to watch him playing, you're just like, he's just an incredible musician. Like out of this world, incredible musician, but he's still a person like
I heard he was also surprisingly amazing at basketball.
I have no idea.
Dave
because
Dave Chappelle talks about that.
Really?
Yeah, he talks about him being great at basketball. Yeah.
I can't play basketball. I'm not very tall, like Prince, but also I don't activate my butt. I don't know if I've told you.
You've got a tiny posterior and you've got problems with your knees.
So I've got absolutely no vertical power at all.
No hops. I'm a big athletes fan.
Are you? All athletes?
Well, a lot of them. Anyone that's at the kind of top of their field type thing. Manchester United specifically. So I met Ronaldo when he was in his.
Oh, did you?
When he was in his pomp, when he turned into a superstar. I was lucky enough to be kind of pulled into the little players area to be chatting to Wayne Rooney and Rio Ferdinand, who were playing for United at the time. And Ronaldo came through the dressing room, massive, like huge dude, 6'3", and just like muscles and chest, and he just looked massive. And he came over to me and he did that thing that kind of quite masculine, overbearing men do, which I quite like sometimes, where, when they kind of grab your trap. He went
did he? Yeah.
He went like that, just kind of grabbed my trap, which I think it's nice, but it's a little bit of a kind of...
He's letting you know.
I'm the guy in charge here.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily that gentle. It was quite, kind of...
pinch.
Massagey. But I liked it. And he said, how's it going, big man? And I thought, wow, this guy is literally like 2 foot taller than me, and he's calling me big man. So I appreciated that. That was a big moment for me. And then I met Bowie at a concert.
David?
Yeah. Aladdin Sane.
I got this at a thrift store.
I think that's Aladdin Sane period. It looks like it.
Yeah. How was that?
Amazing.
Also, I would expect him to sleep upside down or something. Yeah. He was normal?
Very normal. Big Lord of the Rings fan. He had auditioned for Lord of the Rings back in the day and didn't.
Did he?
Labyrinth is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The Labyrinth is the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Labyrinth is the most amazing movie ever.
Yeah,
Dance,
Jennifer Connelly.
Magic, dance.
Yeah, it's a great song.
He auditioned.
He auditioned for Elrond, I believe.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
King of the Elves.
That amazing song that Bowie does in the love song with Jennifer Connelly. There's such a cold heart beating so fast, a kind of pale moon. Amazing. But he was just beautifully turned out. He was wearing like a kind of gunmetal grey suit, massive amount of hair, like a scoop of ice cream on his head, perfect skin, very friendly. took pictures with us, put his arm around Elijah and I, talked about Lord of the Rings with us and how much he loved it. Great breath. Minty, but not so minty that it kind of like sticks in your eyes and you think you're covering up something. You've just brushed your teeth.
It was just right.
You must have had garlic. It
like
was
maybe it wasn't a mint.
fresh, like he'd had a mint maybe 43 or 42 minutes ago. And it was starting to fade.
I like a nice smell. Do you know who smells nice?
Do I?
Yeah.
What does it smell of? Can you remember?
No, it's like it's masculine, but it's not as masculine as you look. You know, you look as if you'd smell a little bit pungent. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to process this.
Like you
I
look
think it's
as
a compliment. I think
as
it's a
if
compliment.
you've like came from a hot car and you know you've just played some basketball.
Yeah.
But there's a woody, but there's a sort of lemon thing going on.
I'll sniff you on the way out if you don't mind.
Yeah, have a smell. It's lovely.
Probably our
Is it that
sponsor.
Each and every?
Yeah, each and every our deodorant. Yeah.
Oh,
Is
nice.
it a deodorant?
I wear just a dash of cologne.
It's lovely. What is it?
It's Dolce and Gabbana light blue. It was a gift from an ex-girlfriend.
An ex,
I've been wearing the
one of
same.
those
I've been
exes.
wearing the same cologne for 15 years now.
It's hard to change cologne. I know that.
Yeah, like and it seems to work for me. I do get a lot of compliments from it, and I've dabbled with other colognes, and I don't seem to get the same response.
don't
and
dabble.
It seems to work for me, and it was a gift from my ex-girlfriend's mom for my birthday.
Oh,
and
that's
I'm
a
pretty
bit
sure
strange.
she bought it and said, "Give this to Nick
Yeah,
for
give
his
this
birthday."
to Nick, make him smell all
And,
lovely for me.
parting gift from her.
Because you said to me, you were showing me a video on your phone.
And you
Yeah.
sniffed
And I
him.
went and I sniffed up and my knees went, and my knees aren't great.
No, and you've got quite a weak arse.
I know. And I tell you what, you smell good.
That makes me feel good.
Well,
Cologne,
you should feel
I
good
like-
because it suits you. It doesn't feel as if you put something on that's, I've tried to cover myself in some sort of scent.
Yeah.
It
just cover up
smells
the
like-
stench.
You should. I'm looking at you quite deeply in your eyes. now.
No,
I think I've went too far.
No, not at all.
That's the biggest male mistake is putting on cologne. So when you hug somebody, it sticks
Oh,
to
yeah.
you.
No.
Yeah, you don't
That's
want that.
disgusting.
No, it's
sickening.
No,
Or
or when you walk
perfume.
by someone and you get it's like a
Ugh.
smack.
Yeah.
And men
No.
or women, you don't want a
Ladies can do
waft
that
of
too.
small.
Yours is
smell.
and you actually, it brings
Subtle.
you closer to you. I wanted to come closer to get a bigger sniff.
I think
of it.
you need to calm
I'll-
down a little bit.
I'll
You need
give
to
you a-
relax.
I'll give you a
I
hug
think
on
you're
the way
trying to
out.
replace
yeah.
your life partner.
Cologne is not.
Dom's getting.
I mean, I'm getting a little jealous and envious, and you're not supposed to feel that way. That's a small emotion. You've already covered this. Jesus.
Is smelling people weird?
No, I
No.
don't think smelling people is weird. I like to
It's
smell
animalistic.
people. I like to smell dogs a lot, and I love smelling babies' heads.
Smell, yeah, baby's
They
heads.
smell fantastic.
I
But
think it's a big thing, and
I didn't
the
give
animal.
you permission to touch me after the whole.
Well, you
smell
never
embargo
gave
that's been
Ronaldo permission
Have you
either.
always been comfortable complimenting other men? Because
Yeah,
I think
I
that's a
don't-
really secure thing to do that a lot of guys would not be so
Really?
into. You
No, I
think
don't.
so?
I don't
I mean, if
care.
it's true,
I think
it's
like a lot
true.
of overly masculine men would
I like to
who
find
wouldn't be like,
something.
oh, that smell. How do you smell? You know.
I like to find something, especially with someone that I've not met before. I like to find just that little thing where, if it's needed, I can go, oh, by the way, love your shoelaces. Or, oh, by the way, big fan of that T-shirt. Just leave it out there. If it's true, I'm
Yeah.
not going to force it.
No, I'm
Do you know
not
what I
going to
mean?
lie.
If your T-shirt's shit, I'm not going to say it's great.
I
but
would-
if it's great, I'm into it.
I was getting brunch with my girlfriend, and I saw the hostess gentleman was, it was busy.
Host.
Host is
Yeah.
a host.
Yeah.
And it was busy. It was a Saturday morning. People were waiting in line. And, it's still kind of a COVID world, so everyone's a little up in arms. And I really quite liked his jeans. And I was like, "Hey, I really like your jeans. Where'd you get them?" And he lit up, and he was just like, "Oh, I got them at this thrift store. This is where I got the shirt, by the way. I couldn't find the jeans."
Oh, right.
And then he went out of his way to give us a table, and on the way there, he's like, "Thank you so much for asking about my jeans."
Right?
I was upstairs crying 10
Oh
minutes ago
my
because
God.
everyone else was so mean to me, and I thought about the rest of the day because it's just like you hear these stories a lot, but you just never really know what's going on in people's lives. And I really just sincerely was interested in finding where those jeans were, But just hearing that, like,
Wow.
it changed his day, and it was just like, wow, I got to do a better job of doing that more often.
Did he just seat you, or was he your waiter?
He just sat us.
Can I ask you, on the way there or as he left, did he smell you?
He did not. No.
Okay, so had nothing to do with the club.
Nothing to do.
Okay, just take that off the list.
And it was just it was just a moment of like, I think we often forget how people are in their own world, their own shit, like road rage and things like that, and you cut someone off and you give them the bird or whatever, and you have no idea what else is going on in their world. And like him telling me that story, like really, it got in my head the whole day. It just really made me want to be more present, and people love a good compliment.
They absolutely do. I used to be quite big on road rage, and I didn't really know that I was until like exes have told me, girlfriends have been like, that's a bit scary when you like get out of the car and shout at people. I'm like, well, they did something bad and that's dangerous.
You get out of the car?
Wait,
I've definitely got out of the car before. Yeah.
It's a little extreme.
But if they endanger you, look, I've
probably an accident.
I'm digging a hole here because I'm trying to say that I don't do it anymore. But I have done it a few times where if someone endangers me, sometimes I can get a little kind of ragey where I'm like, wow, you almost physically hurt me and my girlfriend, and I'm angry. And I remember speaking to my dad about it, telling him like, oh, my girlfriend's made some comments that I'm a bit road ragey. And my dad was like, well, from a bigger way of thinking about it, like you had said, we don't know what's going on with that guy in front of them. They might be having the worst day ever. They might be driving to a funeral. They might be driving to a job interview that they're not going to get. They might just be having a hellish day. So your reaction to that is not going to help them. It's not going to help you. So just let it go. Like path of least resistance. They've cut you off. You're still safe. Let them go. Do their thing. It's not worth your energy.
Yeah.
Right. But as a younger person, I like confrontation. I'm a fan. So I was into it. I'd be like, oh, here's an opportunity to be confrontational. But as I've matured,
there's nothing I always appreciate, or I like to give a good thumbs up and a smile if someone, let's say I made a mistake on the road and I ran in, like I accidentally cut you off,
right?
You're honking and flipping me off, I'll just kind of give you one of those.
That
tends to make them more mad. I too like confrontation.
It seems sarcastic.
No, it's definitely meant to piss you off.
Right. What I think is interesting,
I don't know if that's good or bad, but I found myself doing that.
What's interesting in LA though, the culture of driving, LA is a very polite city. People say hello. I find people very polite here, much more polite than in England where I'm from. People say
more
hello.
polite than New York.
Well, yeah, but in England, in LA, you get a little, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Have a nice day. Nice to see you.
Oh, that's because people are fake.
Okay, but wait, this is my thing. I don't care if it's fake. I don't care. If someone says have a nice, I don't really think they're saying have a nice day, but they still say it. Do you know what I mean? It's still there. We don't say have a nice day in England. We don't say any of that stuff. Someone comes in, buys a newspaper, 50p. All right, that's it. No hello, goodbye, all that kind of stuff. So, but what I'm fascinated with, is that in shops and stuff like that, people are like, hey, how's it going today? How are you? Good. Okay. All right. See you later. But when they drive and you let someone out, it's rare for someone to say, thank you very much for letting me out in traffic. Now in Britain, if you let someone out in traffic, I would say 90% of people say, thank you very much. That's kind of you. But we're less polite, I think. So I don't know what the disconnect is.
I think it's Chrissy's point, because they already got what they want. They don't need to be polite anymore. In LA, people have a tendency of being polite for a self-serving need.
Ah, the fakeness.
Yeah, it's
that's a shame.
They're polite because
Come to Montana, it'll blow your mind here.
They're hoping to get something out of them.
Well, even worse.
No, it's the most polite place on the planet.
Yeah. Good.
Or the Midwest. Have you guys spent a lot of time in the Midwest at all?
Where is Montana?
It's above us.
If that's America, right?
It's it would be
it's like close, Utah, Montana.
Right next to the right of your fingernail.
We're there, right?
Yeah. In Montana.
It's 2 hours flight.
New York.
Montana's right? Montana's right here.
Up there?
If we're here, Montana's
Washington.
Right here.
That's
Washington would be here.
Wyoming.
Right.
And this would be like Idaho, little
Nevada.
sliver. I'm quite good with my geography.
Oh, good. Nice.
Yeah.
What's capital of Kenya?
It's only a 2-hour flight.
Wait.
California.
You mean American?
Oh, there's
geography.
America there.
I'm not bad. World. I can point
What's
out
capital of Australia?
the capital.
Capital city.
Is it Sydney?
No.
Is it? Geography is location. That's more.
That's geography. What are you talking about? Capital cities is geography.
I'm better than the average American about knowing where.
I know where Boise,
I can
Idaho
point
is.
out like most countries in Europe and the Middle East.
Oh,
and, yeah.
congratulations, man. You can point out most countries in Europe.
I'm not saying I deserve a medal, but like, you ever watch the Jimmy Kimmel stuff where people don't know where?
Yeah, I saw that one. Name a country. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Name a country, and they're like Africa. No, it's not a country.
I'm better than most people. I'm usually getting those right. Like, I know the continents and the countries, and I can't point out all the countries in Africa.
Okay.
Other than maybe South Africa.
Oh, well, that's
and
Swaziland.
Madagascar, maybe.
Yeah.
Mozambique.
The point
I know
of my
Kenya's
story,
on the east side.
by the way,
What?
Yes, please, Chrissy, go on.
Where
the
are
point
you?
of my story was here. If somebody doesn't say hello, how are you, or whatever, that's how they know you're not from here.
And where are you again?
I'm in a town called Livingston.
Livingston.
So like, yeah, by
Can we
Bozeman.
find it on that
But
map? No.
I'm where like Benifer is, where Jen and Ben are.
Oh, wait, do they live there now?
Oh, but that's like near Big Sky. That's where like all the like Justin Timberlakes, the Kelly Clarksons have their Jeff Bridges.
we should get
their
a place
houses.
there, Tom.
It's supposed to be an amazing part of the United States, wilderness.
But that's the
and-
difference. If someone doesn't say hello to you, how are you, good morning, how are you doing, good evening, that's how they know you're not from here.
I love manners. I love manners.
And if you just go up the way, you'll be in Saskatchewan.
Right,
Yeah.
Canada.
I've been
Yeah,
up there.
the sun sets at like 10 o'clock here.
I've made a couple of films up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regina.
I beg your pardon?
Regina, Saskatchewan.
Regina.
I thought you were being impolite there for a
Oh
moment.
man.
Never.
I did a TV show with the first job that I ever did. I did a TV show with like a 68-year-old woman. I was 18 at the time. She's 50 years older than me. And I used to come into the makeup trailer at like 6 a.m. while she'd already been in there for like half an hour getting her hair and makeup done. And I didn't need a lot to get going. So I would come in the morning and she would say, good morning. And I'd say, hello. And after the first like 3 or 4 days, she stopped me and she said, when I say good morning, you say good morning. That's how it works. And I went, oh, okay. Like, well, I didn't realize it was a big deal. And she said, it's just how people speak. We say good morning.
That's how
you say-
being human works.
Right.
Yeah.
I was a kid. I had no idea, And she taught me that lesson that like manners, it just costs nothing. It's, why wouldn't you open the door for someone? Why wouldn't you say, have a nice day? So I appreciate what you're saying in terms of the fakeness of have a nice day. And a lot of my friends in England say the same thing. They're like, oh, but aren't all Americans all this, have a nice day and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but they're being fake nice. We're being not fake mean. We're just like, yeah, fucking give me that chocolate bar, right? See you later. Like, just be nice. Why wouldn't you be nice?
I totally agree. So, Billy, you're married with a kid.
Yeah.
And you just live in the bachelor.
I think there's...
No judgment.
I think
Do you
there's-
like being single?
I think I'm probably better at being single than having a girlfriend. I have a lot of animals and I have a big garden and I like to travel and I'm a bit weird. I do weird stuff. It's not weird for me, but like I have a lot of different sized microscopes in my house, both portable and magnifying glasses. Don't laugh. And I can see you laughing.
I'm not.
And very often,
He's like, fucking nerd.
very often on a Friday or Saturday night, I'll put at certain animals that I keep under magnifying glasses or microscopes and, look at them or go see what's in my sink or go see what's, in the cupboard under the stairs with microscopes and stuff. Now, I think most girlfriends would be like, can we just watch Netflix? Maybe order a pizza.
Maybe not.
Have an early night, But I like...
You need like the female version of Bear Grylls.
Yeah, I did date an entomologist once, which was
Who
really
hasn't?
which was really fun. Someone with a degree in insects, which was great because we have that geek level of things to talk about.
What happened?
Why did we break up?
Yeah.
Can't remember, actually.
There must be a fantastic tagline to that.
I'll try and come up with a punchline for the next podcast that we do. I can't remember. I think she probably just went off me. I was probably just a bit too geeky.
He is. He's lovely, Dom, but he's hard to live with. I've lived with him a couple of times. For one thing, he puts on 4 or 5 things at the same time. Like he'll have a podcast on, and a movie, and an album, and he'll be reading a book.
I do that.
Why would you do that? I
don't know why I do that. I often think to myself, why am I doing this?
Switch off all that stuff.
I have a hard time being present, and I think...
Is that what it is? Do you think it is?
Well, I know that I do. I don't know if it's why I do that, but I...
Because I think he is quite present, though, so I don't know why he does it.
Well, I like different stimulus. That's what it is. I like to be stimulated by different things. So if I'm watching TV... Very often I'm, doing the Rubik's Cube while I'm doing it, or I'm with my magnifying glass, or I'm cleaning something, or I'm playing with one of my animals, or if I'm gardening, I'm listening to a podcast, or I like twofers as well. I always like doing 2 things at the same time. I've always been into that. So I think that is a little difficult for people to live with. Also, I need a lot of time on my own. I've had long-term relationships with girls that have lasted years, and it's difficult to say to them, I probably need to go away for 3 weeks on my own, when they're like, but we're together. Like, why don't we go away together? I'm like, no, I need a holiday from you. And that usually turns into a longer holiday.
I don't know much about women, but I think that wouldn't go down well.
Yeah, it hasn't.
What has been the key to success in your relationship? What's relationship advice you have for all the young people out there?
Well, find someone that you like the smell of.
Well, there you go.
Very important. Honestly, me and my wife have been together for many years now, and I love smelling her.
Well, that's lovely.
Her head all about here. I think there's something about smelling someone.
Yeah.
I think there's a chemical thing with people.
Pheromones.
And then just give people the space, Let them do what they want to do. Don't make it too much about... And I didn't really get that. There's a great poem about that, isn't there? That Mark read at my wedding.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And it's true. You are a couple, and that's wonderful. And you get through this adventure together, this life together. But you also have your own things, Give each other space and... You
just got to find someone who's like cool that wants the same space from magnifying glasses and insects.
Exactly. Somebody that won't get freaked out if you put a pug under a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Oh,
because Dom doesn't have you don't have animals. You have insects and rattlesnakes and stuff like that, right? You like venom animals or something.
I do. That's good research there, Chrissy. I do. I'm fascinated by venom, so I have a lot of venomous creatures.
Really? I'm terrified of snakes.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
He would make you
I can
feel
help.
better about that. Watch his show, Wild Things.
help.
I've always had this theory that we choose to have the phobias that we have to a certain degree because it's an identity thing. Like it's one of those things. I definitely don't like snakes. It's not made up. It's real. I'm also sure that if it was a goal of mine to get over my phobia, I could do it.
Right.
But I would rather just not, and I choose to be able to tell people I'm afraid of snakes.
Right.
And therefore, I think sometimes we hang on to our phobias as a identity.
It's part of what defines you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of myths associated with those creatures, and rattlesnakes especially. I think rattlesnakes are probably the most polite snake on the planet because they tell you exactly how comfortable they are at any given time. As you get closer and closer to them, they rattle stronger and stronger. As soon as you stand still or move away, they'll rattle less and less. And they're just saying to you, they're not saying, hey, I'm going to attack you. They're saying, hey, this is my space. Don't come any closer. So I find them to be very polite, very communicative. You just have to get into their way of communicating. And it's kind of a spiritual practice for me because, humans tend to just chat. We have a language that we understand with each other. Animals have a language. It's harder for us to get in step with it, but you can get in step with it. My lizards will tell me exactly what they want. My snakes will do the same. My scorpions, my spiders, they all communicate with me. It's harder to tune into that vibration, but you can do it. And then you give them what they want and they communicate back. Oh, that was exactly what I wanted. I did want water. I did want food. I did want shade. You can see in their behavior. There's a lot of body language and posturing going on with wild animals. Same with dogs. Dogs, I mean, we have a strong relationship with dogs, and a relationship with dogs that is easy to understand simply because we've had a longer relationship with them. But most of the communication with dogs and humans is body language, right? The way that they behave. It's the same with snakes. It's the same with scorpions. You just have to connect to that thing a little bit.
Are they caged up, or are they kind of some of them roaming free?
No, none of them are roaming free because.
Would you put him on Billy when he was sleeping?
No.
That would be funny.
I would I would never put a venomous animal on anyone because.
Well, not a venomous one, but obviously.
No, I don't play. I don't play the fear game with animals because I don't feed fear into people's relationship with animals. What I want to do is empower people with animals. So if someone's scared of snakes, I always say, okay, well, listen, I have snakes in my house. If you want to stay outside, we can have a cup of tea or a glass of wine outside. Cool. If you want to put yourself into a position where you can meet my snakes in a safe environment, and maybe we can start to push into that level of comfort for you in a safe way, we can do that. But I would never do a snake thing, because then you're feeding into that fear that they have. It's not helpful, you know.
You've mentioned vibrations a few times, and I'm really curious about that because, you know, like different forms of communication, like can you expand on that in terms of like when you talk about vibrations to the average person listening to that, they might be dismissive of that, or like, you know, like reading people's energies and other than just kind of paying attention to people, what are some ways to like understand, you know, the energy someone's giving out, or an animal, right? Because, you know, we talk about communication so much on this podcast, and you know, the relationship between men and women, or even dating, or, you know, approaching a guy or approaching a girl, and the vibration or energy people give out is really important to pay attention to. And I think that's something that we miss most of the time.
Yeah. I'm less interested in the human vibration than I am between my personal vibration with other animals. I don't find humans as interesting as I do other animals. I have a garden on a relatively steep hill. And I spend a lot of time in that garden, and I spend a lot of time out in nature anyway. What happens very often what happens almost 99% of the time when a human enters into a wild space is all of the animals are acutely aware that just happened, and they'll all send out a warning sign, whether that's a sound or a movement or a body position. All other animals understand based on that noise or that movement or that body position that something else has changed, and they'll continue to pass on that communication. So very often when you walk out into a garden, you'll hear high-pitched screeches from birds, like a scream. Rah, rah, rah. Those are birds telling their bird friends, there's a human here. But that communication is also understood by mammals and also understood by reptiles, and they'll all send out this vibration. So what you need to do when you walk into a natural space is stand still. Walk into the place, get comfortable, and stand still. When you stand still, you'll start to hear other noises, and those other noises will then be the birds talking to each other in a comfortable way of, hey, I found food. Hey, what are you doing? I'm over here. Okay, come back to the nest. I'm doing this. Okay. You'll hear the change in the tonality of the way that they're speaking. Instead of a warning sign of, we're in danger, look out, something's here. They'll be singing. It'll be sing-songy. And the lizards will start to come down, and they'll start to forage, and the squirrels will start to, they won't just be focused on you. They'll be like, okay, there's a human. Oh, he seems okay. All right, I'll go about my business. So now you can then move closer into that environment in a safe place, because now they think, okay, humans here, nothing crazy happened. I'm okay. We can go about our business. You can get closer, move in. So when you're in nature, when you're in a natural environment, the key is to find a spot, stand still, be patient, and just wait. And then nature will come towards you. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of the vibrations.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. When you're talking, you kind of, I think of like kind of supernatural movies, or movies that are about nature and animals. And I'm wondering, like, do you ever talk about this? Was like, this seems like would make an interesting movie, or like this, even filming Lord of the Rings, this like kind of connection with the supernatural or even animals. Did you have these conversations with Peter and kind of talking about how all things are affected as it relates to, like, you know, humans' interactions with the rest of nature?
Well, Pete's terrified of most animals. He's terrified of wetters. He's not scared. He's scared of snakes. He's terrified of spiders, isn't he? Because of the whole Shelob thing. So yeah, we've talked about it over the years. I had a nature show for 3 years. So part of that, well, a huge part of that nature show is trying to change people's ideas about animals that most people are scared of. I mean, a great example, most people won't do it. Most people shouldn't do it. I would not advise it. But if you see a wild snake and you grab it by its tail, you want to work with it, the first thing that the snake's going to do is try and escape. So you grab it by its tail, the snake will try and go in the opposite direction. As soon as it realizes that it can't go in the opposite direction, it'll turn around and try and defend itself. It'll try and bite you. If you don't allow that snake to bite you by moving your hand away and controlling its body position, very quickly, within probably 5 or 10 seconds, it will stop doing that because it won't waste its energy trying to bite something that it can't bite. So now it'll coil up in a defensive position and it'll just say, I know that you're holding me. I know that I can't escape. I'm going to stay still. And if you don't mess around me anymore, I'll be calm. If you stay in that vibrational state with the snake whilst holding it and communicating through your hand into the tail of the snake, not going to hurt you, not going to hurt you, just want to hang out here for a second, you will watch the snake relax. Then you can let it go and it won't even escape. It'll just sit there with you. I have it on my nature show all the time with my cameraman where I'm working with an animal, it could be a snake or a spider or a scorpion, and I'll say to my cameraman, okay, you're good now. And what I'm saying there is, we're past that point where it's going to escape. We're past the point where it's going to bite me. I know that this animal now is aware that it's safe and we can play. And then you play and you work with it and you keep it safe and you make sure that it's okay and you're done with it. You let it go and it motors off. Most wild animals have a couple of immediate reactions towards coming into contact with a human. And if you can ride that wave, then you can hang out with them, play with them, work with them, and then let them go.
That's fascinating. What are some of your passion projects? So he has animals, insects. So like, other than when you're not working and you're not acting, what are the things that you're doing to,
Billy's got a band, doesn't he?
Yeah, usually
band,
it's music.
Billy?
Yeah, I've got a band called Bee Cake, and
Bee Cake.
Yeah, the name came from him actually. I'd formed a new band quite a few years ago now, and we were looking for a name, and he was on holiday in Europe somewhere.
Spain? Morocco, Tangier.
Morocco, and he'd gone to a bakery, and there was a cake that had bee pollen on it. Was it bee pollen?
Yeah.
And it was attracting all the bees. So this cake had bees all over it, and they would just knock them off if someone wanted a slice, and And he sent me a picture of it, and it had Bee Cake underneath, and I thought that's a good name for a band. So yeah, so I've got a band called Bee Cake. We have 3 albums out now, and another one that we've just finished. So music's a big thing. Yeah.
Do you compose, like write and compose music as well?
Yeah.
Some of your work was on Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I wrote a song for Return of the King that's in the movie, and then I came back and wrote a song for the last Hobbit movie, for the Battle of the Five Armies. I do the end title song called The Last Goodbye that sort of finishes off that trilogy. So I write music as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never... music is something that kind of escapes me. I can't. I have a hard time. I like it. I like listening to it. I have no skill set.
Like everything else, it's just practice, right? It's just muscle memory and doing it. And I love the idea that Dolly Parton writes a song every day. I love that.
Right?
Does she?
Yeah. Every day she writes a song, and you're going to write a good one. If you're writing 365 a year, 1 or 2 of them is going to be 95, There's going to be a good one. She also
plays like every instrument. I don't know if you've ever seen her in concert.
Amazing.
In concert,
she's brilliant.
She plays like every song she's playing like a different instrument. It's insane.
It's brilliant.
She's an American legend, that woman.
And that idea, you should do that. Start writing a song every day.
Well, it's the same with Jerry Seinfeld, right? Jerry Seinfeld subscribes to the same thing. He sits down and writes every day.
Yeah.
And very often he says that he will not write great jokes, but he'll give himself an hour or a couple of hours a day, sit in front of his computer, write jokes for that period. Next day, comes back and does it again.
Yeah, I mean, I just never did the music thing. I played violin and as a kid and piano, and I felt like I just got worse.
Yeah,
it just wasn't for me. I was I like to draw. I was more the drawer,
right.
And so it's just music for some reason, and I've always been fascinated with it because I'm always drawn to people and things that I'm not that doesn't come naturally or I'm not good at. I like learning and things like that. For the same thing, like jealousy, I'm with you guys on that, and that's been a strength to not dismiss the things that I am not good at or don't like,
right.
but just kind of invite. I've always been drawn to and fascinated with people, and that's why a big part of for me making friends as an adult was connecting with people with things that didn't have the same strengths as I had. So like in high school or college, a lot of my friends would kind of look like me or do the same things that I did, and as an adult, a lot of my friends, you would not guess that we might be friends, just because we just have different strengths and weaknesses. But it's kind of something that I've always been drawn to as an adult for that reason, and so I have a lot of friends in that industry or have talents, and it's just something that I've never been good at.
Oh, well, you still got time.
Yeah.
Still got time.
Well, before I let you guys go, you guys down to play a game called Do You Know Me? We've mentioned in the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Fun. It's easy. I'm going to ask a series of questions, and don't answer right away. We'll guess if we know you. If you have an anecdotal story to share, please do. If you don't have to, you can just say yes or no, or say what you have done.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. Do you know me with Dom and Billy? Has Dom and Billy ever thrown a drink on somebody? Has Dom or Billy ever thrown a drink on somebody? I don't think Billy has. I think he is a gentleman, and I feel like Dom with the road rage. It's happened, yeah, and not including the movie, because I feel like there was maybe a scene in a movie or something in The Hobbits or something with you guys. You were big beer drinkers in the movie, so that's my guess.
I think if Billy's done it, it was out of humor, like it was something funny that he was like. It was done out of humor, but I think Dom, from the road rage story, could definitely throw something in someone's face.
I don't think either of you have. I don't think it's your style, Dom, and I think, Billy, you're too mild-tempered.
Do we answer now?
Yeah, you can answer now.
You're right, I never have thrown a drink on someone. I've had a drink thrown on me as a young man, a young lady.
Were you being saucy?
I think you're at that age where maybe you're seeing a couple of people and different, and a young lady came in and didn't know that I was seeing some, and she threw a drink on me in a bar. I remember I was totally I was shocked.
Oh, Billy was, before he was married, he was a man about town. William Boyd, for sure.
Have you thrown a drink on someone?
I've never thrown a drink on someone. I think it's a little bit of a
cheap,
a dodgy move. Yeah, it's a cheap move. I'm not. I've been in the same situation. I've had drinks thrown at me, and I was with Billy once in Thailand, where we were in Koh Samui. We had dinner. We were hanging out on the beach, having a few beers, having a great chat. Just the two of us. It was a lovely night. Some girl who was a little inebriated came over, sat on our table, and we both saw her, and we carried on talking, and 20-30 seconds went by, and she said in a slightly kind of obnoxious way, "Oh, sorry, am I bothering you?" And I went, "Well, yeah, kind of," because we were kind of in a conversation. And remember, she just like wheeled around and smacked me so hard in the face. It was almost like a punch. And I just kind of looked at Billy and was like, did that just happen? And then she got up and walked off, didn't she?
Yeah.
But it was a hell of a slap, wasn't it?
It was a good slap, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
But another reason Dom would never throw a drink on someone is he's very, very tight with money.
Yeah.
And drinks are quite expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very frugal.
He's very
I
frugal.
appreciate the practicality of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a punk move, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for saying you did.
Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind. It's all good.
Question number 2. Has Dom or Billy ever had a paranormal experience?
Is that what? That's ghosts.
not
Whatever.
seriously.
I mean, do you?
Something you can't explain.
Well, as someone who's not big into that, I would say, like, do you believe you have, or whatever it is means to you by your definition? Would you? I guess do you have a ghost story? Like, I've met a ghost or a spirit or in
Something
a house
deeply
or something. My girlfriend swears she's seen a couple ghosts. I don't believe her.
Their faces are so hard to read.
Great poker face, Billy.
That's the LA thing. It's Botox.
No.
Neither one of us.
I'm gonna say Billy.
I'm gonna get
yes.
vibrations, maybe. You know, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna say no.
No, don't they stay in some creepy places? I bet in some weird locations. Maybe they've seen some or heard some weird things.
I'm gonna still say no.
I think yes. Or I think something that like you wouldn't admit to thinking of as a ghost, but you was really eerie, and that on a base level you think was paranormal.
Have we answered now? Is it our time?
You can go ahead and answer.
No, I've never. No, I've never seen a ghost or heard one, or Yeah. No, no.
Never had an experience that you can't explain that you felt was in the paranormal arena.
No.
Me either. No. I've had some
board.
space stuff.
I thought
but
we'd be connected, had the same birthday.
I've had some space stuff, but I don't think that's the same.
What do you mean by
Well,
space?
like I was with friends in Griffith Park, walking back from a kind of night hike. We were looking for coyotes, which we found. And on the way back, we saw like a fiery, kind of a meteorite, asteroid type thing. But that we all saw it. So that's more kind of a space phenomena, not UFO type thing. But, it was like a burning fireball in the sky that crashed-ish nearby. So, but not a ghost. Maybe a ghost was in it.
Maybe
a ghost was driving it.
Well, this is a question, I guess, more for. Well, I guess it could be either. Maybe I don't know how long. Probably does. I'll just say just focus for Dom. Does Dom follow their most recent ex on Instagram or any social media?
Do they follow their exes on
okay.
social
Do you follow your
media?
ex?
Am I following any of my ex-girlfriends or an ex-girlfriend?
Your most recent.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like you're good at. I don't know.
Maintaining relationships and friendships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Billy would, if his ex. I don't know. I'm assuming he's been married longer than Instagram was a thing.
13 years, 14
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, Instagram wasn't a thing.
Wasn't
years
a thing.
ago. Yeah, but he would totally be potentially following his ex.
I feel like your ex doesn't have social media.
Shall I answer?
Yeah.
I do not follow my ex on social media. I was trying to think then, do I follow any of my exes? I don't think I really do. Not really. I'm not, even though I am on social media and I have a presence on social media, I'm not the biggest fan of it. My social media is very much a kind of, here is my work.
Sure.
This is what I'm doing. This is how you can access the public version of me. But to be perfectly frank, all of the precious, personal, fantastic moments that I have in my life are not on social media, and I like it that way. And I kind of feel like my ex's business is nothing to really do with me once we've broken up. I did recently just see my ex a couple of weekends ago, so we're still friends.
Okay.
But it didn't make me think, I'll follow you on social
Sure.
media, because I don't know, it's none of my business.
Makes sense to me.
Do you know what I mean?
It is difficult now, though, isn't it? I mean, like, I'm thinking of a couple of friends that I've got who have got married and have kids, but if you scroll down their Instagram far enough, they're with other people.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
I haven't gone out of my way to delete photos.
So that's the
I
thing.
have.
Do you delete it, or is that weirder?
I have.
Yeah.
I deleted them.
Because
Did you?
for me, it was more of a I don't care enough to go back and delete them. You know, it was more like, yeah.
But does your girlfriend now not say, if I accidentally scroll right down?
I mean, it was like a few
Years
years
ago.
ago. Like
How much
3
of a
years
scroll
ago.
is that? Is that like
That would be, minutes.
I mean,
you'd be doing it.
Yeah,
for
minutes.
Yeah.
But not exactly like, maybe
Minutes.
1 minute if you went fast enough.
I wouldn't delete stuff. I've not deleted anything. Any of my tweets or any of my Instagram things that people get hectic
I'm not
about.
big on.
The worst thing about it is the anniversary things. Like, oh, this memory is today.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, but I don't like. But like,
Just
if you
delete
get a
it.
gift from
Yeah.
a significant other, and then you break up, and let's say it's a watch you like or something, I still think you can appreciate that gift without being.
Right, sure.
You can't be like, oh well, I have to get rid of this watch because I have a new girlfriend and my old girlfriend gave me this. And I just feel like that's kind of an immature thing. If I'm dating someone and she has like a like even jewelry that she just you can tell she just likes how it looks. It's not like a sentimental, like this is a special keepsake with a picture. It's just like it's a pair of earrings she likes. I don't care it doesn't really mean anything to me.
Also, I've been lucky enough to have relationships with some quite beautiful women, and on social media, most of the comments on their photos are from men that I don't know going, oh my God, you're so hot. Oh my God, you're so hot. Oh my God, you're so hot. I don't really want to see that. Do you know what I mean?
We got to have that problem all the time.
Yeah, sure, Chrissy.
I think it's kind of hysterical. I don't know. I mean, I have guys complimenting my girlfriends and it's just like, yeah, she is.
Well, yeah, they are, but it's just none of my business at this point. You know?
Question number, not sure, 4, 3? I don't know.
4.
Can Dom or Billy name at least 3 John Mayer exes?
Oh, John Mayer exes?
Between us or individually?
Absolutely not.
Individually.
Or songs. We can go with John Mayer songs.
Songs I bet they could do. I don't think they could do exes.
You could. I'm gonna just name.
I can only name because
name
I can only
a mainstream
think of 2.
actress or songwriter, and John Mayer's probably dated him.
Okay, I've definitely got 1.
I think I have 2.
We're ruining it.
Yeah, I can only think of 2, so I don't think.
All right, it's fine. It's a very rules.
Oh, we
free
broke
game.
the rules.
Yeah,
fine.
we did. We were supposed to.
No, that's totally fine. But I want to see you try.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I've only got 1, so shall I go first?
Right.
Mandy Moore? Did he
Probably.
date Mandy
I don't
Moore?
know. I'm gonna say yes.
Maybe more.
Did he date Kelly Clarkson?
No.
Okay. Sorry about that, Chrissy. That's
Katy Perry.
Yes.
strong reaction.
He dated Katy Perry.
He did Katy Perry. Yeah.
Oh God, I'm terrible at
What's
names.
another like big name?
Yeah, the
singer?
wonderful
Ellen DeGeneres?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor
Yeah.
Swift.
Yeah.
Jessica
there you go. That's
Simpson.
3, isn't it?
Jessica Simpson.
Jennifer
That's a big one.
Aniston.
Jennifer
Jessica
Aniston.
Simpson.
I had.
Wow, yeah.
It's an
So,
impressive
I don't know.
list.
Well, I will say this. I'm not crazy about his music necessarily, but he legitimately shreds on the guitar. Have you seen him play guitar?
It's insane.
yeah.
He's like a virtuoso almost.
He moves his thumbs. He puts his thumb over the top.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen
John
that.
Mayer,
Which is illegal in some states. They won't let you. Gotta keep it.
Nah, he is a very talented guitarist.
he shaped my 20s. A lot of Heartbreak Hotel. Has Dom or Billy ever named their car? No.
Yeah.
Are we to answer?
Chrissy?
Yes,
Chrissy, go on.
100%.
What, both of us or just one of us?
I bet both of you have named a car at some point in your lives.
I have a nickname for it.
In their lives?
Ready?
Ready?
I mean, I guess I have too in high school. Go. I'm still going to say no.
No, never.
I'm so bad.
Yes, and my car currently has a name.
What is it?
So, my car currently is called The Future. My Tesla. It's called The Future. I named it The Future. Because you can actually rename your car when you go into like the software notes. You can rename it. So I renamed it The Future. And then my first car, which was a Volkswagen Polo, was called Orville.
My first car was a 1980 Toyota Tercel, and it used to be owned by a Catholic priest who was German, and his name was Joseph, but he was very popular. He in the Puerto Rican community, and they would call him Jose. And I had a sticker of there was a sticker of like the priest, and so we just named, all my friends named it, and then I subsequently named the car Jose.
Nice.
And that was
That is the most complicated story I've ever heard.
Yeah, you could have just
And
said.
I loved it.
You could have just said I had a car.
I
called
feel
Jose.
like I needed to explain why I named my car Jose.
That was
So,
brilliant. I loved
it's
it.
2021. Why did I name it Jose?
You're getting into the
Yeah.
friendship onion territory there.
s-
That's like our podcast, the way you went down that one.
I'm surprised that you've not named a car.
No, I've never. I'm thinking about it now. Even my first car, which was an absolute tip. It was a Mazda 3. It was about 15 years old, and even that should have had a name. I was driving it once, and see the back wheel. I don't know if they still do, but it's got a big spring in it, and the spring came right through the car. honestly, I've never seen anything like it. Like you wouldn't even know that spring was there. I was driving it. I went over a bump, and this giant spring came right through the car. I was like, where did that come from?
Like the ejector seat.
Yeah.
You named any guitars?
No.
What,
Oh,
really?
okay.
I named the bass player in our band, I named his guitar once because he got a new bass and it was white, and I called it Snowy White, and he always called it that. And it was a lovely guitar, that.
That's nice, Snowy White.
Snowy White.
What about your Willie? Have you given your Willie a name?
He's just the general.
The General,
of course.
Right, yeah.
Self-explanatory.
Mine's called the Death Star.
Yeah.
It's not fully operational yet, but we're getting there.
Well done. Final question.
Carry on.
Can Dom and Billy touch their toes?
With what?
It's a good question.
The general.
Follow-up question.
Your fingers, I guess.
Okay.
Or I mean, also if
But you mean like everyone can do that? You mean standing
like,
up?
yeah, like the
straight
whole like
legs.
I
Yeah.
can't for
Oh,
anyone
really?
who cares.
Well, you
to
are
know.
quite tall, right?
But that means longer arms.
Yeah, I'm just not
Good
flexible.
point.
I don't think it's a height. I use that as an excuse, but
It's flexibility.
Hamstrings.
isn't it?
flexibility
Tight
and
hamstrings.
range of motion. And since you have some butt problems, and I don't mean
No.
the whole.
I hear you.
I don't know if I don't know if you can.
Because you have pups.
So that's a no, you think that's a no?
I'm
for
going to say
Billy?
no for Billy just because
Chrissy, what do you think?
The leg thing.
probably
I'm
will,
gonna say yes.
and
for
I think
both.
I think Dom can. Yeah.
I know the answer
say
to
yes for
this
both.
because I've spent quite a lot of time with Billy.
No,
And like
barely.
and your legs have to be locked. I
Yeah,
mean,
we have to prove it, surely.
Yeah, I feel like you should probably just
Can I guess before we do
yeah.
it? I'm going to say categorically yes for both of us. I think Billy's very flexible because he's done yoga for years, and I can definitely do it.
Okay. Well,
Take your headphones off, Broly.
No.
you don't. I mean, if you want. Oh my God, you're not even trying.
Oh, yeah, I think we're okay.
Oh my God, he can put his palms on the ground.
We're all right with that. Well, come on, have a go.
Come on, let's have a look. Show us your best effort.
Oh, that's so close.
You'll be
Set
dead
these
in a
back.
week. You'll be dead in a week.
Painful.
Oh wow,
You're
really?
so close. You've got to
I need
push that.
I need to do more yoga.
Can I tell you?
Yeah.
No word of a lie. If you every morning did it once in the morning and once at night for like 2 or 3 weeks, I bet you'd be able to do it. It happens so quick for me.
Yeah.
It's just when I go to the gym, I just do a little bit of stretching, and it within less than a month it happens.
I have to stretch more.
Yeah.
It's I'm good at staying active. I'm bad at stretching.
Well, that's the one thing we've found out from this podcast. You need to stretch more.
And you've got a tiny little ass.
Well, let's not worry about that.
Yeah.
But it's called the general.
No, that's the other part.
Although generals have been known often to be short and small.
But
So who
also
knows?
strong and powerful.
Strong,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's really unclear.
Leading from the
It
front.
sounds great, but it's still unclear.
And sometimes they wear helmets.
Guys, it's been so much fun to have you on.
Is that it? It's been like 15 minutes?
Has it?
No, I'm kidding.
How long? Over an hour?
Oh, wow.
We can keep going. I just want
No,
to
let's-
No, we've got to go.
We've got nothing else to say.
You guys obviously have a new hit podcast called The Friendship Onion. It's available wherever podcasts are available. Obviously, a lot of Lord of the Rings discussions.
Yes.
Elijah Wood and many other cast members are on there.
Mm-hmm.
Any things you guys want to plug about, the podcast or other projects you're working on where people can find you?
I'm only going to plug the Friendship Onion because that's why we're here.
Good shout.
It was lovely to speak to you.
Yeah.
And basically, we'll get you on the Friendship Onion sometime if you'd like to do
I'd
that.
love to, yeah.
It would be great fun. But the Friendship Onion is me and Dom's podcast where, as you say, we talk about Lord of the Rings, but many other things as well.
Lovely. I think he's spoken that about as eloquently as any human can.
All you can do is agree, Dom.
Yeah, I do agree.
You guys are a ton of fun, and be sure to check out their podcasts. They're hilarious, they're fun, and if you have any interest in the Lord of the Rings, as many of you do, like myself, you'll definitely love their podcast. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castme.com, cast with a K, for our Ask Nick episodes. And if there's nothing else, we will see you back on Monday. Hey guys, thanks for watching, but before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Mondays Ask Nick for your favorite relationship stories and advice, and our Tuesday Bachelor recaps. See you next time.